Good evening, guys, and welcome to the Friday Night Social. No, your eyes do not deceive you. It is not the Sunday. It is not the MTC show. It is the Friday Night Social. We haven't got Doom and Gloom as our names. But yes, you can see I've got the Ginger Princess herself sat with us in his rather sparkling new white top I see there.
You like it, mate? I quite like this one.
It is. That's quite nice. I was having a look at that one.
I don't do them in your size, mate.
Well, if they fit you, I'm all right then.
What's that mean? You're only little.
But I am quite surprised you're wearing a Man City one. I thought Aston Villa might have more been your thing.
Listen, mate. I might have to revert to Villa, mate, the way things are going.
We'll get into that at some point tonight, shall we? We have got a flurry of guests this evening. Some home, some abroad, some stuck in an area you wouldn't really want to be. Hint, hint. Any names. He's laughing his head off camera. First, let's get the abroad ones done. Good evening from Australia once again. It's a sensible one. Ross, how are you, buddy?
Cheers, Martin. It's the only time I get called sensible on this show, so I don't know if that's a bit worrying, but
yeah, well, when it comes to a choice out of you and Alan, it's kind of we know which one the sensible one is.
There is no choice. There is no choice.
Yeah, good boys. How are you two?
I'm not bad, mate. Oh, you're good.
The weather is dreadful.
Yeah, I can't say the same, lads, but
yeah, it's ruining my day off, this weather.
The fourth guest we want to bring in is one of the regulars, one of the moderators, the one, the only, Kurt Douglas. Here he comes.
Evening, lads. Hello, everyone in chat. Hope everybody's well.
What is it with the Christmas trees at the minute? You're all getting a Christmas tree background going on.
I just thought I'd join the party. It's that time of year, at least. It's less than a week away, mate.
You missed the memo, Ross. Where's your tree?
Hang on a minute.
Very nice, that. So you're the Grinch then, Martin?
Yeah, but you're the one green with envy, pal. Anyway, let's move on.
Of what?
Of me. Anyway, our fifth and final guest, like I said, has just disappeared off the screen. He's got stage fright. We will bring him in as soon as he comes back. But what I want to do is we're going to say a few hellos in the comments, and then we'll get cracking. Just to let you know, Ross is only with us for about an hour and a half. Maybe we can push a touch longer. Let's see if we can keep Ross talking. But Ross, unfortunately, has had some bad news this week. His dad's not very well here in Manchester, and we know his dad's watching. So big get well to Ross's dad. Wish you the best, and I hope you get a very speedy recovery from myself, Chris, Kurt, everyone here at Man City TV, all the subscribers. No doubt, Ross.
Thanks, boys. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So what we're going to do, I'm hopefully going to try and get the fifth guy in. It's the second time we've lost connection, but let's fingers crossed we get him back. Charlie Everett says, come on, City, difficult test away at the Saints, but I'm sure we could pull off the win. Maybe it'd be quite hard up the Blues. By the way, hello to people in Dublin. Hope you're doing well. Not, causing trouble, drinking Guinness. Yes, the legends are back. Oh, thank you very much, DP. Jack Lee, hard lose. Got it. Pardon? We're just going to stop while Ginger Princess repeats his words.
Sorry? No, I was talking to myself, mate. Sorry.
I've been visiting the family and having a few beers. Not wrong with that, mate. It's going to be one of them streams tonight, innit? I can tell. The Ginger one himself is in one of them moods. Adam Quinn, hi. Levi Greenwood, hi. Sean Fogarty's gone 2-1 to the City tomorrow. I'm confident. I like it. Jack Lee's gone 3-1. John Grogan, evening, boys. Hi, everyone. CMC, how is everyone doing? Hi, Rafa. I wishes go out to you, your dad, Keith, another massive blue like yourself, Alkinson Branch, and Middleton Blues are all praying for speedy and full recovery. Stay strong. We love you both. Peter Curry's Aguero out for tomorrow. We'll talk about that as we're going along, mate. Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris. Evening, lads. How are we all? Big test on Saturday. We need to start Aguero and find our killer instinct. The Xmas tree has returned on the elf. Don't call Chris an elf just because he's short and stumper and wears green tights. We are getting battered tomorrow. Not looking forward to this game. Martin got his coat. He said jacket, not a coat.
The bell end.
Ooh. Don't expect any changes tomorrow. I told you it was one of them streams, didn't I? All right, guys, good to see you. I hope you're well and safe. Hello, Andy Blue Moon. Hope you're good, mate. Doopy says, oh, Christmas. I'm not singing that. John Grogan, it's Mad Friday. Evening, everyone. Hello, Leonard. How are you, mate? Ozzy's in. Hi, guys. Just like to say, I've got a new blue in my household as my partner gave birth to our daughter on Tuesday night.
Congratulations,
Big congratulations, Ozzy.
Nice one, Ozzy.
And trust me, treasure the moments, because when they get older, they change, especially daughters. Trust me. Carl, hi mate. Carl was going to be on, but he's got a football match, so why can't be on? Ronnie Bieber, hello, how are you, mate? There you go. Carl's just telling us all. Congratulations, Ozzy. Speedy recovery, says Doopy. Sorry to hear that about your father. Hope he gets well. Good evening, lads. Get Ross loads of get wishes to him, to Ross's dad, which is really good. We'll perk him up. We know he's watching. He should win. If we don't, I will rage quit. What do you mean rage quit?
Don't rage quit life, mate. It's almost Christmas.
Hope your father gets well, Ross, mate. Good evening, lads. Hope you're all good. Pep has come out and said City not in for the strike. We'll get into that, Paul Rowe. Hope your dad gets well soon. Pep went out. Yes, I'm going to get into it, Ghost. I promise you. Internet issues. There you go. He's just told you. Cal Blundell is joining us tonight. He's just sorting out his. What was that then?
That's Charlie, the other blue in our house, who's
all right. I wonder.
Just got upset because I think the Rags were on the telly on Optus Sport, so he gets upset when he sees it.
Don't blame him, mate. It's a natural reaction.
Right, well, let's get into it then. Southampton on tomorrow. Oh, hang on. Looks like he's put 50p in the meter. You know what it's like over there. Where you know what it's like over there. He's looking at me now like, don't slag off my area. Here he comes, the blue in Liverpool. Carl Blundell. Hi, mate.
Hello.
That it? Hello.
How are you?
Oh, good. You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm getting there. You know, my granddad was in hospital. You know, he got COVID, and yeah, he's not looking the brightest. But hey, he's a fighter. You know, he's Scouse. He's a fighter. He'll fight it. And yeah, you know, we just broke up from college. Well, we broke up last week, but it's been all online learning, and I hate online with a passion. I really do. I hate online with a passion.
I hear you. Naheem said you sound like Trent. Right.
He's off, mate.
3 o'clock kickoff. Very, very weird for Man City. We have a 3 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday. That's the first bit of gobsmacking news tonight.
Used to do quite well at 3 p.m. on a Saturday, to be fair.
We'll get into that.
It's because we're shit. They're putting us on at 3 o'clock, the one that no one watches.
Here it comes, live, all the way from Dublin. And how's Dublin, mate? Guinness good? Well, I don't know why I'm saying that like he's actually in the room with us. But anyway, what I'm going to do is we're going to go round I'm going to get your initial thoughts on tomorrow before we head into Pep's news conference. So, Ross, you've only got an hour and a half now. Start with you, buddy. Your initial thoughts on tomorrow.
I just can't see us scoring goals. I just can't see it. And I know we'll get onto it later, but some of the comments that Pep made this week, we'll just cross the ball more and we'll have more shots than we're having, and we'll have more corners. Well, that's fine, but we can't score goals. And again, as I've said week on week, just the teams that he's picking and this whole getting upset with 5 subs, got no idea why he's upset with it, because he doesn't make any. And he makes them too late. So what's 5 going to do? So, yeah, I'm just getting really, really frustrated with the how we're playing from an attacking point of view. I mean, teams don't attack us, yet we're playing 2 holding midfielders. I mean, we can go on. It's like, put anyone up front. If he's not going to play the young lads who are forwards, then put more forwards up. I mean, he made a comment about getting more people up front, but he doesn't do that. Sometimes we don't even play with a striker. So, yeah, it's goals for me. I think on an optimistic glass half full, I go for a 1-0 win because I can't see us scoring any more than 1.
Andy just said he's in the airport, been delayed 2.5 hours. Yeah. Chris, your initial thoughts on tomorrow, buddy?
I think Sean said it at the beginning. It feels a bit like a must-win game, this one. 2 really disappointing performances in the last week. Like Ross has said, scoring goals is our biggest problem. I still think we can come out of this slump at some point, but if we don't put the brakes on soon, then we're not going to be challenging.
Kurt?
Well, we're obviously going to talk mainly about our side, so I'll start off with the Southampton side. They're obviously in great form, top 4 of the table. They had away results, draw at Chelsea, draw at Arsenal, and a draw at Wolves. The only time they've really been turned over is that Spurs game, which the Spurs just took the chances. It wasn't, the scoreline didn't necessarily reflect the game from what I remember. The thing that gives me a bit of positivity is Hassan Hüttl's generally the type of manager who wants to, he's not saying he's going to go and attack us, but it's not going to be four banks of 2 and then just knocking it forward. There's going to be a little bit of football that they're going to try and play, especially with the fact that they're one of the 4 teams that actually have fans in the stadium, right? Because it's just Brighton, Southampton, Liverpool and Everton, right?
Yeah,
I believe so now, right? So that's going to be a massive boost to them because they're going to be playing in front of their own fans. So I think it's going to be a really tough game. Don't really know what I'm expecting because form's been dire.
Okay. Carl, as the neutral here, how do you, what are your thoughts on the actual game itself?
It's a tough game, a very tough game. Southampton play good football, and they're a team that they'll let you can have 90% of the ball, and they'll let you. They don't care. They'll allow you to have the ball because all they need is that one attack. And I think, just to echo what Ross said, when I watched City last year, well, not last year, but 2 years ago, I thought every time you're going to score, you're going to score, you're going to score. I don't think you can score. I watch you and I don't know where you're going to score from because it's like all the attackers have just completely lost their shooting boots. And obviously COVID doesn't help, but I think look, we're 3 months into the season now. That's just an excuse because every other team has that problem. You know what I mean? I tried using that excuse, but we've got to realise that every team's going through the same problem.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to go through the some of the notes of Pep's press conference because, as normal, Pep has done his daily brief. And one of the first questions was Sergio Aguero. Asked him about was he fit, and he said after the game he could. This was on Wednesday, obviously West Brom Tuesday, wasn't it? He could not train yesterday. He didn't train. Today, he trained and trained really well, but I don't know how many minutes he can play. It wasn't anything about the knee, but it was another position. Today, he trained. So, on that, I'm going to go through it point by point. and we're going to get into it a bit more later. Sergio Aguero. Pep said new position, meaning new injury, not the knee. Anyone concerned by that at all, Chris?
The concerning thing is that, he's not fit because we haven't got a striker fit enough to lace his boots. That's what's concerning. As he gets older, you're going to expect there's going to be more injuries. And when you've had quite a long layoff, it's quite easy to pick up niggles as well. So, I'm not surprised. It's disappointing because we need him back and we need him back firing as soon as possible.
Yeah. Ross on Aguero.
Yeah, I mean, good job it's the language issue because I got a bit worried. I thought he was going to start playing him centre half or something when he said new position. But, with Aguero and his with Pep and where he likes to do things. But it's one of them now. I think he's probably at that stage of his career where he's only probably going to get match fitness by getting minutes. And I think these niggles are going to come when he's just coming on, coming off, having a break, not training. It's how injured is he? Is it injuries he can play through? Like if it's a little tweak, because as Chris has said, we've not got anyone to his level, but then anyone who is a forward, apart from Jesus, he's not giving any time. So they're putting more pressure on Jesus as well. But for me, with Aguero, he looked, we obviously don't know what's going on inside his body, but he looked pretty good to me. But if he's on the bench, then he's fit. That's what I always say. So if he's not fit, he shouldn't be on the bench at all because he's taking up a place. And I think, this is one of the issues with, we don't have reserve football anymore. So he can't get any yards in his legs before games. It's just pretty much training, not training, then going into a game. So I think we need to play him, even if it's don't do any running and just stand on the last defender, because he literally is the only person who can score goals for us at the moment, I think.
Kurt?
Well, he's had this knee problems for pretty much all the time I can ever remember. Was it last year that Pep said that he said himself that his knee injury was better and it's the best he'd felt in years, and then he got injured again, and it's been like non-stop injured, coming back, plays a little bit, they rest him, they're worried about him, he doesn't play, is he injured, is he not injured? It's difficult. Players who play from such a young age, you've got to remember this guy started playing for Independiente at 16 and he played every game for them, and this is in Argentina where he's going to be smacked on his knees every game, and he's been playing at a top level as soon as he came over to Europe. It's not surprising that his problems are catching up to him. It's just a shame.
Kurt, that's a great point though that I've mentioned a few weeks ago. He started playing when he was 16 and he's played pretty much every game and he's now 32. Why at our club do we not play people till they're 22?
Well, it is slightly different, the fact that he was in the Argentinian league, and a lot of the problems in Brazil is they get their players poached too young. They have to play them even younger, because back in the day they'd stay a little bit longer until they're 21, 22. They'd win a Copa, they'd win a Copa Libertadores, they'd win the domestic cup, and then they'd move to Portugal, and then they move up. It's with the player hoarding we have these days, it seems the clubs are trying to get players as young as possible. So they're playing them younger because they can sell a 16-year-old for 5-10 mil over there. And for those sort of clubs in the climate, especially the climate we're in, is very valuable. So it's very different. Obviously, not many English sides of any level are playing 16-year-olds, to be fair.
Cal, as an outsider, obviously, you've not seen a striker as good as Aguero over at Goodison ever, but
I think we all know he's as good as him.
But banter aside, mate, where are you at with Aguero? Obviously, brand new injury, bad looks things.
I think it's absolutely insane to say he's finished, because I say this all the time. It doesn't matter how old you are, that finishing ability, it never goes away. Look at Ibra. Ibra's 39, 40, and he's bossing it in the Italian league. And yeah, you rude bastard. And what's it called? I don't know, I just think it's stupid to say he's done. Obviously, he's 30, 32, 33 now. isn't he, Aguero? Harrison team, man. I bloody wish we had Aguero. I'd take him now. I'd take him with one leg. Never mind two. But yeah, I think to say he's done is just it blows me away because he's still one of the best strikers in the world. Obviously, I think it's a bit stupid from the board to not bring in a replacement. For me, you know, what is it? You've got to realise players age and players get on, and injuries will become a big thing. Look at David. Look at
Lost him. I think what Kurt says is a good point, Matt. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still
We're still here, mate.
It's starting at 16 is very similar to Wayne Rooney, and by his early 30s, he was finished. You know, playing that much high competition football. I'm not saying Aguero's finished, but you know, there could be some similarities there.
Just to add to the point, he played 2 under-20 World Cups.
Yeah.
How many players played 2? He won both of them, by the way. Just saying.
My point is, so I get Kurt's point about 16, but there is players who in the Premier League have come through at 17, 18, 19.
They definitely are, yeah.
And there's those players. Why is it, like the Rooney comment there, Chris?
Yeah.
So what if he's finished at 32? I'm being selfish here as a football fan. But if he plays for your club from 18 to 32, so what?
No, you get good 14 years out of something like that, don't you?
How many players even play for 10 years now at a club? I know we've had a few recently, but I just don't get the mentality of. It's like, we've got players out on loan who are not young kids.
Yeah, but they're out on loan so they can show themselves so we can sell them. They're not there to be ever developed as City players. 90% of these guys
we never give them a chance.
Oh yeah, but I don't think they ever intended to give them a chance. That's the thing. I just think that's the way we operate. I just think that's the way we go about it, mate.
Honestly,
I don't agree with it, Ross. I'd much rather play the kids, but I just think that's the way they go. They saw how Chelsea were getting around FFP. We're just getting a load of kids in, showing them off in the multiple clubs we have links to and own, like Girona and etc. And then they just ship them off, Imagine looking at Jack Harrison on the left. I think he could have done a job for us, but he was never given a chance. He was always just a player to sell, and it's disappointing.
Yeah, and my worry is when we have given a lad a chance, we've given him a game and a half, one in the cup, and then 25 minutes against Leicester. Dilat, we're crying out for a forward. He's never even got near the team since that. So has Pep made his mind up on Dilat? Because what I saw, and a lot of Blues actually liked it, and right now would give us a bit more. But Dilat, for me, he's gone. It's not even in the squads now.
No. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through the rest of his press conference. Then we get deep into this. He was then asked about De Bruyne, whether he was going to rest him before January. And I can tell you, probably I'll guess his answer on this was no. Too important to us, so he won't rest. He rested in the Champions League, and right now we need him. Then was asked about how you solve a problem up front. And he went into a little bit of detail here. He said, insist and insist and insist. And 25 shots is not enough. Create more. The only thing is to insist. Be positive, and one day it will break. Be aggressive. Put more players there. And we're able to score goals and win games. The confidence will be back. But the reality is, comparing the 40 goals we scored in the year we won the Premier League, 36 the next year, 35 the year after. This year we've only got 18. I think he means in the first 12 games. So in the previous seasons, we were there really well, and we had to score more. Last season, we scored more goals than the champions, but we conceded too much. So we have to score more, but everyone knows it doesn't just depend on one specific player. Everyone can score. Depends on the mentality and the desire. So he was basically asked about anyone who was going to come into this. Now, this is for something we're going to bring up later. I don't want to go into too much detail on this right now. We're going to get into this later on in the stream. But he said, bringing in anybody new in January, basically. These were Pep's words, not mine. Absolutely not. Sergio could not play much, and Gabriel has an incredible numbers of minutes and goals since he came here. He's one of the best in history. I'm now starting to think Pep needs glasses. We took 13 corners last game, so everyone can score goals. The way we defend depends on the strikers, and the same happens up front. The striker has more responsibility, but everyone is involved to try and win the games. Was asked a little bit about the Bilic sacking, and then talked about, obviously, Southampton will have fans there tomorrow as well, because they are in tier 2. We're in tier 3. So we've no fans. Southampton get fans. So that'll be a new one. Playing in front of fans tomorrow. But there's where we're at with that one. But Southampton flying absolutely high. One of the surprise packages of the season. And they are doing something we're not doing. They're scoring goals right now. Chris, is this a really tough? This is going to be one of our toughest of the season this tomorrow right now, with the form the Saints are in, because they are going marching on right now.
Yeah, they're doing well. I'm not going to say it's one of the toughest games. I'm just saying, actually, Martin, that was the shittest Pep impersonation I've ever heard. But they're doing well. Fair play to them. I don't expect them to maintain it, mate, if I'm honest with you. But Hasenhüttl was a good manager. He's experienced. I think he's done a great job at Southampton. You know, it's not that long ago that they lost 9-0 on it to Leicester. And since then, they seem to have bounced right back.
Kurt, Southampton. Because I'm tell you what, they've been for me the surprise package so far.
I'm a bit surprised how high up in the table they are. But me as personally, I'm not surprised because I watched Bundesliga week in, week out, and he was really good at Leipzig. He was really good there. You know what I mean? And you don't manage a top side in Germany, you know, especially a club like Leipzig. That's a very progressive club in terms of the way they want to play their football and the style they want to impose. You know, Southampton have had a track record of getting decent or top Dutch coaches or coaches from the Dutch league or the German league, and you know, or Spain, and they've done really well. They're a really top side, a really great club. You've got to respect Southampton a lot. It's going to be a tough game, but I've got a feeling it might be quite easy for us in the sense that of how difficult we might think the game is on the outlook. Because I think the fact that there is fans might put the impetus on them to, you know, want to go for it a lot. And I think it's the first game they have with fans. I could be wrong. I think so. You know, first game. Imagine how we'd play. How much more ready and, you know, if it'd be your first game back with fans. That's how Southampton are going to be. So I don't know if that's going to play into our hands a bit or if that's going to come to bite us. So I'm a bit in two minds. I think it could be a good game where we win 2-3-0, or it could be a game where it's another game where we play well, they score their chances, and we don't. So, yeah, bit of a fence sitter, mate.
Ross, Southampton, because like I said, to me, they are a surprise package. And I think tomorrow could be really, really tough for us. We could have a long afternoon there tomorrow for me.
Totally agree, mate. And I think I got laughed off the page about 5 weeks ago when I mentioned one of their players who I thought would be a great signing in January, and I think he's one of the main reasons. And even though he has a few injuries, is Danny Ings. Like, and we've all just mentioned it. They've got a goal scorer. I mean, people say he's not that prolific. I had a look. I think he's played 72 games for Southampton and scored 35. And you could say that before this season and the start, they've not been a great team. So to score that amount of goals in a team that probably doesn't get 15, 60 chances that we provide as City. And all this, what disappointed me about Pep was we had 25 chances, so we'll have 35 chances. If you're saying we need 35 chances to score one goal,
yeah,
that's terrible management. That is terrible. Now, you switch that to Southampton. I think Cal mentioned they're happy to have the ball. Leicester are another team. Spurs are another team. And the thing is there, the 3 teams I've mentioned, you got Danny Ings, you got Jamie Vardy, and Spurs have got 2. They've got Son and Harry Kane. 2 chances in a game, they'll score 1 at least. City, 25 chances, we need 40 chances. I just can't get that computed in my head. And for me in January, as I've said previously, I would be going out, and if we've got any chance, as Chris said at the start, to continue to challenge, we'd be snapping up an Ings or a Jamie Vardy for 2 years to score goals. And is it going to be a tough game, mate? Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, and I think it's going to be tough because the way they set up, they've got a guy who scores with 1 chance. Walcott's playing really well. He's got a new lease of life. He's scoring goals. Yeah, it's a tough game. They've got the fans. They've got everything going for them. But these are the games. We've got to get 3 points tomorrow.
Well, saying that, there are 2 defeats or 3 defeats this year have both been at home.
Yeah, but on our form, I mean, we'll probably go into this game with the bookies as the favourites because we always do.
Yeah.
But do any of us think we're the favourites for this game?
Yeah, I would.
I do, but like I said, I may be proved very wrong tomorrow.
We've got to win. We've got to win, and I'll take 1-0 because 1-0's a win. But I think we're a very different City team. We're very narrow. We're playing with two holding midfielders. We're still creating chances, but it's all about putting the ball in the net.
Carl, obviously, you're an outsider here. You're a neutral.
Yeah.
I won't say outside. Wrong word. That. My apologies.
No.
I'll say neutral. My apologies. That. How do you see Southampton? The way have they surprised you this season? Because you as an Evertonian, you were flying high, like we said.
We're 5th. We're 5th.
You were top of the league at one point. You were top of the league, flying high. You were flying high, but then obviously Southampton have emerged and then gone over everyone else again. So are they surprising you or
not really? No, I think Southampton are a good team. They had the foundations 2 years ago. They just never really got the right manager. That was the problem. They've always had good players. They've always had a good football team. They just never had the right players. And look, Danny Ings is phenomenal. Danny Ings really is. And I think if you can keep Ings fit, he is a 20-goal a season striker. That's how good he is. And I think the problem is they look what they did to us. We had beat most teams we came against them, and they absolutely played us off the park. The problem for them is you playing 2 defensive midfielders. That's not very clever against a team like Southampton. And I think if Pep wants to beat a team like Southampton, he's going to have to play Foden and De Bruyne. He can't play Gundogan and Rodri together because Southampton's midfield will eat that up because they work their socks off. Like your midfield in the last few games, they take 10 minutes off, 15 minutes off. Southampton midfield do not take 1 minute off. That happened against us. They ran us off the park and none of our players could handle the pace they put on teams. And then when they catch you on the counter, they are good. But again, obviously, I think we're all harsh with City because, yeah, you're not having the best of form, but that doesn't stop how good Pep is as a manager. That doesn't stop how good the players are. You know, you've still got probably the second best squad, probably the best squad on paper in the Premier League. It's a weird season, you know what I mean? We were top for 4 weeks, then Villa beat Liverpool 7-2. You lost to you lost to some mad teams. Everyone's losing, everyone's winning. It's just a crazy season.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
don't rule yourselves out because this could be a game where you beat them, and then you go 5-6 games where you just keep winning. So
yeah,
I don't agree. I just want to say I don't agree with the Pep out chance because I think if you sacked Pep, you just would you'd replace him with Poch with 0 trophies.
We are going to get into that at some point. We're going to talk about the frustration of some of the fans. Setting for life, getting some of the comments. Says Southampton are very lethal. They are one of the best free kick takers in the Premier League and a very lethal Danny Ings.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Smith, lack of movement off the ball really prevents scoring chances. Robert Robertson, hard would love to see Aki left back and Laporte have to start.
Does Laporte deserve to start though? That's the thing. Does he really deserve to start over Ruben Diaz?
Mate, it's got to be Stones and Diaz.
For me, I remember Ryan said this when Chelsea beat you 2-1 or 3-1 when Liverpool won the league, and I remember Ryan came on and said that he believes Laporte was the worst centre back after lockdown, and everyone hammered him and said no. And since he's come back, I think he looks completely off what he was. And I know he had a big year with an injury, but you can't afford that kind of.
The problem with Laporte is he's so good for so many games, and the games we need him most, he just makes big errors.
He's one of them players, isn't he? That like,
you know what I mean? That Spurs game.
Yeah, it's like Van Dijk.
Errors.
They don't make errors, but when they do, they don't really make errors. But when they do, they cost you big time, and that's the problem. And I think Diaz is amazing, and I know Chris will love this because I've got to apologise to him. But I wish I never came. I came on here like a month ago and said that Aki wasn't worth the money. Aki's been class for City. He's not a bad game. He's not a one bad game for City. Either is Diaz. I think that defence. I don't understand why he changed the defence that he's been playing.
The best defender after I think Walker, but best centre half this year for me is John Stones.
Most certainly is, and then Diaz right behind.
And what happened to him in the week?
I said this though. I said this to Martin that Stones is a good player when he's got confidence, and I think that Champions League quarter-final or semi-final was the worst thing to do to John Stones, to drop him against Lyon and play Eric Garcia, who wants to leave the club. Like, that was so wrong of him. And like John Stones, he has all the quality to be a world-class centre-back. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have bought him for 50 mil. It's just he needs time, and that's the problem. He needs time.
I think it's the off-field stuff. Apparently it's all sorted.
Yeah, true.
Ever since that's been sorted, Stones has looked mustard.
He's looked
as
good.
a manager, if he is having really bad off-the-field issues, it is the right thing to take him out the firing line, especially in a side that's having problems.
Yeah,
none of us were happy about that Garcia starting that Lyon game, mate.
I remember your reaction. Your announced reaction. Furious. And then what he did against Leicester when he dropped him for Garcia, I think it was like Garcia and Ferner or something against Leicester when you got like 6-2, was it? Or 5-2.
But I can only assume Stones wasn't in the right headspace. I can only assume that based on what happened.
Okay, well, sorry, sir. I want to get Ross more and Chris more involved because I know Ross has got less time than us. Tomorrow, then. Because a lot of people are telling me, I'm just reading on here the comments, Ings is better than Jesus. Ings is a funny one for me. Great at Southampton, went off to Liverpool, bigger club, and absolutely drowned.
Southampton played 2 up top, though, which helps Danny Ings.
I know that, but how many strikers have we seen of this great? I don't want to say smaller clubs because it sounds really cocky and disrespectful. I don't mean it in that way. The strikers are sort of mid-table teams. They go off to the top 4, and then they just can't score.
Martin, though, he got a bad injury at Liverpool. I think he only ended up playing 14 games, something like that. So to judge him on that happens to players. I know what you're saying, but he got a bad injury and he had some stiff competition there. You know, without that injury, would have been better. And I think it's what he's doing now. I mean, he's scoring, and he probably is one of them players. To your point, but how many forwards around? And like, let's take the Haalands out of it, who are crazy money. How many forwards are there around right now in the Premier League who score goals? And who you could probably sign in January.
Oh.
So
right in the Premier League. Oh, you could
League.
Yeah, I mean, we could go back for your fella because he'd probably want to come to City.
The thing with that, Ross, is all those players, they're basically the man at their clubs. You know, I mean, they're having a great time and they're in the form of their lives.
Yeah, just remember that though. Mahrez, I mean, this is not the Mahrez was the man at Leicester, ran the show.
Was he though? Because he saved that. No, but they had Vardy as well. Like, let's not take out Vardy.
Yeah,
Vardy was.
Who was the one setting Vardy up all the time?
True, but like
to be fair, they got Maddison. He's done just as good a job. You know,
he didn't really play that much though in his last year. They like.
Who didn't?
Mahrez didn't play that much, did he, in his last season for Leicester before he went to you?
I'll have a look. I think he
did. I don't
think
he disappeared, didn't he?
He's doing that.
His first game back was actually against City, where he took that penalty where he
was supposed to sign for Arsenal, weren't he? He was supposed to sign for Arsenal and Liverpool.
This is where I'm going with this. And again, this is going to sound. The point is with this. If we am into one of the top clubs in Europe, that we say we are, yeah, were up there competing with Barcelona's, Real Madrid's, and all these other clubs, Bayern Munich's, wanting to go for the European Cup, would those players go after Danny Ings?
No, but that's not what I'm saying, Martin. I'm saying if we're still in with a chance of winning the league at Christmas, we're not. We need goals in our team. We need cover. We need a forward to bring on. He's not going to use the young lads. Aguero's going to get injured again. We've got Jesus. So then you've got to go into realistic. Who will you be able to buy in a January transfer window? You're not going to get a Haaland unless you're going with 200 million. You're not going to get other forwards at that level. So you're going to have to look around and get a stopgap that's not as much money to spend, and they might score a few goals for you. It's a risk. I'm not saying it's the future of the club, but we've got no forwards.
Right, and I mean, people are saying this Patson Daka. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I don't see
talent.
I've not sat and watched Patson Daka left, right, center. I know other people on other channels are maybe.
Martin, I'm telling you now, he'll come in and be exactly like Torres. He's older than Torres, but he's a development player. He's 2 or 3 years away from where he needs to be.
Yeah.
People
He'll end up at like
a player like him.
This is me.
They'll get upset with him 10 games in.
Everyone's going down this Patson Daka and everyone else. Has anyone
just the name of the month, mate? It's just the name of the month, mate.
No, the press or a channel puts it out there, and then everyone jumps on a name.
Yeah, it's just the name of the month, mate. It's just how it goes, mate.
Has anyone sat? I mean, Chris, have you watched Patson Daka play for 10 games? Do you know? I'd never even heard of it.
No, of course not, mate. It's just typical, a name gets out there and everyone's like on it.
Yeah, greatest player ever. Why have you watched him week in, week out?
Yeah, and I totally agree with Ross. What Ross says is absolutely true. We don't need a sort of a potential sort of start. We need somebody to come in and score us a few goals. Took away some scruffy goals, Sean Goater, anybody, the chances we're missing, and I don't like not digging out Razford, but that header against West Brom was crap. It was a really poor technique from him.
Yeah,
2 yards out, just poor. Would have won us a game. We wouldn't be all miserable, But we need a striker.
Well, Andy Blooming said Danny Ings is no better than what we have. Just hit the target. We're getting chances. Just be clinical. Andy says Haaland has 68 clause in 2022. I don't think City are going to wait that long. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't think he'll.
Robert, I appreciate what you're saying, but have you seen him play 10 games?
The thing is, I've got he plays for Salzburg in the Austrian Bundesliga. Yeah, I've got a lot of friends. Like my family's German. I've got a lot of family over in Germany, the south of Germany. I've watched a lot of Sturm Graz games. I've watched a lot of Rapid Vienna games. It's very easy to look good in the Austrian Bundesliga.
Yeah,
very easily.
Haaland scored something like 25 goals.
And very easy.
The comment from Andy Blue Moon. So I'm not particularly saying it's Danny Ings we need to go after, but what he's actually said in his comment, actually says exactly what we're saying. So Danny Ings is no better than we've got. We just need to be clinical. So that means Danny Ings is better than what we've got because he is clinical.
He was the top scorer for most of the year last year as well. He got 22 goals, outscored Sterling, Jesus. He outscored basically most of them strikers.
So now,
let's be honest,
he's clinical.
I just want to say, Martin, I think that was like wrong to say, because if you look at the team as well, let's be honest, when he went to Liverpool, they didn't have Luis Suarez, they didn't have Salah, Mane, Firmino, they didn't have any good players. You know what I mean? They just chucked like 50 million, like Balotelli, Iago Aspas, bloody Fabio Borini. They just spent money on a lot of crap. And let's be honest, Ings suffered so much of injuries. And let's be honest, he went to Southampton and look how good he's been. Like, he's one of them players, and that's what, like, when we play Southampton, there's 4 players that I watch out for because they're that good. Is James Ward-Prowse, Oriol Romeo, their CDM, because he will kick the shit out of every player and will not stop. He will. And Danny Ings and that DeGempo, because he's quick as hell. But Danny Ings is a player, he doesn't have to play well for 80 minutes, but he'll get on the end of every shot because he's a good striker. He's a classic English number 9. I understand
that, and I'm not denying that. My issue is I'm not trying to be arrogant when I say it. I'm trying to say, because we're talking Danny Ings, Craig, I know Ross is not talking. He's talking Danny Ings as an example. Don't think Ross, like I said, he's talking. Let's bring Danny Ings.
I think it's a good example. That I think it'd be the right sign for it. I think it would be a good
profile
sign.
of player.
Right,
Yeah.
how would it be the right Carl? You said, for example, you just said it'd be the right sign. He comes in. He's not going to be the Aguero replacement.
No, but again, that's the thing though. You say this is the problem. You say this about Rodri. He's not the fair replacement. Look how good. Let's be honest, Danny Ings. I know, but Danny Ings' numbers for a team like Southampton, no offense to Southampton, is absolutely unbelievable. He got 20 plus goals last year. 20 plus goals. And let's be honest, they went on a streak where they weren't scoring. They lost to Leicester 9-0. They lost to us. Tom Davis scored past them. They lost to United, Chelsea. They had lost to so many teams. And then post-lockdown, they beat Man City. They beat Arsenal. They beat big teams. And Danny Ings helped that. What's so wrong about that's the problem I think with a lot of fans. It's because he isn't a flashy footballer. It's because he doesn't play for a Bayern Munich or a PSG or a Real Madrid.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he can't. Well, my issue with Danny Ings, you've got to convince Danny Ings to say to him, "In you come, mate. Play for 6 months as the number one, and then in the summer when we go and buy Aguero's proper replacement, he's going back on the bench again." So
I
he's
get
giving
that, but
him a chance to do that. And a lot of look at that. A lot of players don't do that. They won't do it.
This is the point I was making.
I won't leave because I'm not sitting on a bench.
But do you know what is a good?
It's not. Why did Jamie Vardy turn Arsenal down then?
Look at Aguero though. Like I know it's a mad example, but look, and Aguero didn't really play in the Prem, but he scored what was it, like 6 goals in the Europa League.
Yeah,
and look what that did for Marsh. No, 1 second. Look what that. Look what it did for Martial. Martial played in the Prem, and he didn't have to play in the Europa League, and it kept him fit. Maybe that's all Jesus needs is a player that can keep him. Because let's be honest, Jesus is playing Premier League, Champions League, the bloody Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup. He'll play in 4 competitions. That's way too much. If obviously not an Aguero, but a lesser player who can still get goals, plays in a FA Cup, a League Cup, that will help Jesus. It helps players.
Go on, Ross. What are you going to say?
I'm just saying, the comment about Vardy, though, apparently Leicester inserted a goal bonus clause in his contract, which popped him up to the same amount he'd earn at Arsenal. So I won't get too carried away. And Arsenal, he just won the league, and look where Arsenal are now. So but I still believe, and there's not many, I don't think loyalty exists in football a lot. I think most players, unfortunately, would still move for money. That's just my view.
I agree with you, Ross, from the player's perspective, but I disagree with the clubs. Like, I don't think Southampton will sell for anything reasonable, anything close to a reasonable fee. I don't think Leicester would sell Vardy for anything close to reasonable. When Everton had Lukaku, they weren't letting him go for nothing less than a bag full of money. You know what I mean?
Let him go for as much as I think we could have got for him now. Let's be honest.
You could have got more. You could have got over 90, mate. Easy. He was quality. I don't know why United binned him. Anyway, this is a different conversation. I just don't think the clubs are gonna. The Premier League clubs have so much money now. They don't have to. Like Leicester a couple years ago started the trend, and a couple teams thought, you know what, they're kind of on the same thing. Wolves have got the Chinese investment group. You know, they're only selling players that they deem they no longer need or they want to upgrade anyway. They were like, fine, we'll get rid of Doherty. We're going to get in Semedo. You know. I agree with you. I think if we get the players, I think Danny Ings has signed the contract and come. But I don't think Southampton will get us to the point where we can talk to Danny Ings. I think that's where the problem is with that.
It's like the case with Zaha at Palace. They're worth more to the clubs than actual value. Like Zaha is worth more to Crystal Palace than at 80, 90 million. You know what I mean? Look how many clubs have tried to buy a Wilfred Zaha. Look how many clubs. There was like 5 clubs last summer going in for Zaha. But I just think, City have the money. Do you know what I mean? They have the money. So, money's not an issue really for City. And onto the Haaland point, I just got to say, I just think I don't use everyone. Do you know what I mean? They have the money.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
It's fine now. Yeah, Haaland is why would Dortmund not just let go of him, but they've just sacked their manager as well, so the club is in kind of disarray. So they're not going to let go probably the best player that they can sell for 300 million in a few years, because they probably will, because he's phenomenal. He is phenomenal. So I don't see us getting Haaland at the moment.
And I think this is about this policy. So it's where you go. So when I think everyone agrees, whether you're a City fan or not, that City need to buy that Aguero type player, and that's going to be in the summer, and it's going to cost a lot of money. And you're looking at your Haalands or your, for me it'd be Harry Kane, for instance. I'd go for Kane or Haaland because he's proven in the Premier League. That's just my view, but I'd sign both of them. And some if you're going to do it right. But then you look at players we could have got in this summer. So like your Suarez. I mean, right now, Zeko would score goals for City because all of a sudden we're starting to cross a ball. Like he was available to come back in the summer, but people, you don't go backwards, don't go backwards. But
yeah, true. Do you know what is a good shout? And I think this is a good shout. Arnautovic for 6 months. Why not? Arnautovic, proven goal scorer at West Ham and Stoke. Why not? 6 months, 7 months.
Because I don't want to have a big debate about strikers. We're turning 20 minutes on strikers here. When we're at Southampton tomorrow. Let's go through the teams. Yeah, because he's the world's greatest striker, isn't he, mate? Remember Wilfred Boney?
We all know who the best striker in the world is.
Ask a City fan about Wilfred Boney, Cal, because that's exactly what happened with Danny Ings. Greatest striker ever. Top goal scorer over the calendar year. Came to City and couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo.
No,
I'm
sorry, you can't compare.
I watched it, mate. I watched it.
So did I.
It's nearly Christmas. Can we not talk about Wilfred Boney, please? Like, it's not even my money, and I'm upset about it. Can we?
We dropped 30 million on him because he was the top goal scorer in the Premier League, and look what happened.
Didn't want to pay Dzeko. Didn't want to give him starts, so we got that.
Exactly. Anyway,
my Christmas, mate.
Let's go through it. Is everyone's goalkeeper Edison and presuming? Is anyone going to say they want Zach Steffen to go and have a go tomorrow? No? Right, Chris, your left back.
I've got Ake at left back.
Ooh.
I just don't think Mendy's doing anything, mate.
Justin, so you think Ake deserves his chance tomorrow?
Yeah, I think he's a safe bet at left back.
Okay. Ross, left back for tomorrow?
Is this me or Pep?
You. Well, know what you think it will be.
You play Mendy tomorrow.
What do you think it'll be now?
He'll play Mendy.
Kurt?
I hope it's Ake, but I think it's going to be Cancelo.
Bit of a mixed bag at the minute. Cal?
Well, from an outsider's point of view, probably Mendy, because it's like he's an actual left back, but he should be sacked for that haircut. What is that on his head? Looks like he's got a dog on his head. Disgusting, that haircut. It's almost as bad as yours.
Cal, we're not here to judge haircuts, especially when you've got that mop on your head. Chris, centre back.
Diaz and Stones.
Same as me. Diaz and Stones. Ross.
Diaz and Stones.
Kurt.
Same old Diaz and Stones.
Cal.
Same as everyone said.
Yeah, that's clean sweep for Diaz and Stones.
Which probably means it'll be Ake and Laporte. But there you go.
Walker.
Kyle. Ross.
Walker.
Kurt.
They got players like Nathan Redmond at that. Anyone but Walker would be suicide.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cal.
Again, what Kurt said, because Nathan Redmond will torture Cancelo. Because Cancelo doesn't like to defend, so he'll get tortured.
I've gone for Walker as well. Right, CDM. There's only one choice, really. He's going to play in it.
I think so, mate. Brian the Snail.
So are you going for just one or two CDMs tomorrow?
Who, me?
Yeah. Is he going to double pivot up again?
He probably will, but I'm refusing to play that game.
I am not saying I'm not doing it. Oh. Ross.
Oh,
I think he'll play the scapegoat and the crab, as I've started calling him.
Oh, we'll go on then. Name him.
So the scapegoat's Rodri.
Yeah.
Because everyone just jumps on him. And the crab's Gundogan because he just goes sideways.
Didn't on Wednesday night, Tuesday night.
Good, you see him though, his face, he looks shocked. He couldn't believe that he hit the ball forward. He was like, shit.
You just said not Rodri, but I'm going to have a go at Gundogan when he got man of the match. Hang on. Talk about...
I'm not having a go at him. I'm trying to insert a bit of humour. He's going to play 2 holding centre midfielders. Probably you could argue this is the game to do that, actually.
I'm shocked that he's going to play double pivot tomorrow. I can't believe he's going to do it.
Double pivot. What does that even mean?
I know, it's like bloody basketball, isn't it? You don't think it's football anymore. Kurt?
Well, it's not going to happen, but I'm going to say, because I just want to say what I want. I want it to be Fernandinho and Kevin De Bruyne as the old, whatever we want to call those people, wherever they float, whatever that position you would like to say. And then whoever the hell in front of them.
Yeah, but Kurt, that's not fair. We all want that as well, but who do you think is going to play?
Well, I think it's going to be Rodri and Fernandinho.
See, I'm going to bring this. What Rory's saying is Fernandinho too old now.
No,
he's our best midfielder in that position.
Oh, so good, mate. We're all going to cry when he leaves.
He must be one of the.
Martin.
He's underrated as well. I think he's only just started to get rated by not just City fans, but people outside of the club as well. That gap we're seeing, what a hole it had last year and this year with him not there.
I tell you, we know how good he is, Ross. It's by everyone for a season. All they could talk about when they mentioned City was the word tactical fouling, and that was because of one man and one man only. I love Fernandinho.
See, I understand this, and I get what you're all saying.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go, Cal.
He's old.
Come on, Martin, here we go. We all know what you're going to say. Go on, mate.
Damn it.
No, listen. You lot want your dad's army in, and you want 38, 37, you whatever-year-olds running around the football pitch with a Zimmer frame.
Would you take Messi?
You sit there going, we're too slow. We don't move the ball quick enough because you got 30-odd-year-olds running around on a football pitch.
He doesn't need to run around.
Fernandinho moves the ball faster than anyone else does.
Does it? I remember a game, I think it was Southampton actually, at home, or one of the. He was awful in CDM. He came in here and went, he looks his age.
Yeah. He had barely any options in that game. That's the game I remember well. He was sitting there looking at the ball. How many times have I seen him play in the last 18 months where he's had the ball, he's looked up, he's had to kick it to the side, and you've seen him shrug and then point at 3 players in front of him. Why is he doing that? It's because the people in front of him are making the runs for him to make those balls. And I think that's just a lack of confidence in the side in general. People aren't making runs, balls ain't coming, the ball ain't going in.
I have a different theory on this because I don't believe that. Because everyone harps on to 2 years ago, and everyone thinks 2 years is nothing in football. 2 years is a lot in football.
Oh, yeah.
And players change in 2 years. They get older. They lose a yard of pace. Things change in 2 years.
Hang on, though, Martin. So right now, take his age out of it.
Yeah.
Is he right now, if he was playing games, is he our best holding midfielder at the club?
I'm going to sound double standard here, but yes, but because I don't think... No,
so
yes, he is, because I don't think we've got a proper one that suits Pep's style right now.
Okay, so you play with what you've got, so you play him.
Yeah. I understand that, but then don't sit there going, we're going to win the league, we're going to do this, because it ain't happening.
Well, we're not going to win the league with the 2 he's playing, so I'd rather see someone who tries and does a bit more and gets you excited.
Remember, Fernandinho will not be hitting next year. Fernandinho will be out the door next year.
Exactly, but we knew Silva was going, but we didn't just not play him last year.
Well, we didn't. Well, we did because he only played the last 10 games after lockdown.
No,
you hardly saw David Silva before lockdown.
Yeah, it's not his fault that there was a pandemic.
No. He would have
played.
hardly played before the pandemic. He was on the
So
bench.
you're saying because he's going next year, we shouldn't play him? Yeah, Eric Garcia publicly wants to leave the club, and he's in more than anyone.
And Ross have stated he shouldn't be put anywhere near the team.
Oh my
Right.
God.
So do you know what I mean? For Fernandinho, going or not, you go off what you've got. And in that case, Fernandinho, based on the player he is still now, is better than what he's playing there. Whether he's going or not, whether he's 50, 40, 18. And he's doing it with the young kids. He doesn't think the young ones are good enough, so they're not getting in. But then he's now not playing. I just don't get it. And the thing with Fernandinho is the more you leave him out, the harder it is for him to get match fit.
He played centre back as well, Mark. And that's something like remembering for most of last year he was a centre half. And that Southampton game or Norwich, the one where you lost 1-0, it was the one where Shea Adams scored from like the halfway line or something mad like that. And what's it called though? It's like you got to think Fernandinho had played centre back the whole season, and he was back in a position that he hadn't played in a long time. And let's be honest, you look at the season before when he played there, he had Company and Laporte, two centre backs that he could trust. In that game, I think he had bloody Eric Garcia, and I can't remember who else he had next to him.
It was that game, Cal. If you watch it back, I think it is Garcia. He actually has to keep grabbing his shirt like on a Sunday league and pulling him into a position. There was a comment made the other week about Fernandinho that if you take out the top 4 or 5 clubs, he'd probably walk in as centre half at most clubs in the Premier League.
He walks into any team as a DM. Let's be real.
The similarities between Fernandinho and Fabinho are startling, to be honest with you. They're both exceptional in multiple roles. In their role, they are one of the most elite in their position, and the only difference is ours is old and theirs is young. You know what I mean? But Fernandinho is so good, mate. Even when he retires, he's gonna go play on the beach in Brazil and just be skinning people for days, mate. It's gonna be a great time.
It's the impact he has though on City. Look at the impact he had. Like, I think when you notice the impact, because I think Rodri, I remember coming on a podcast and like funny enough like this time last year saying, Rodri will get up to pace. We're 1 year on, and that I wouldn't really say his game's improved. He's still good, but his game hasn't really improved.
There is, Pete. It's just something's going wrong with it. I need to put it back.
I think Fairness still is one of the best DMs in the world, and I think that position for City is so crucial and so important. And you can tell.
I'll tell you one thing. So the rumor has he's going to New York, right? But I'll tell you one thing. If I was a Premier League manager, I would be in his ear in January. Yeah, because I would be taking it.
Arteta, mate. Might need someone to save him from what's going on there.
Right. Anyway, let's continue with the team. Chris.
You didn't come to me.
Martin Fernandinho's in your team now, then, yeah?
No, I've got Rodri in it.
Oh dear.
So just while Andy messes with his nuts, let's move on to the midfield. Chris, you're 2 or you're 1 in front of your double pivot or 1, whatever you're doing.
I haven't got what you call a double pivot, mate. I'm going to go with Kevin and Phil.
Okay, Ross.
Well, it said De Bruyne is going to play every minute of every day, innit? So it's KDB. Phil, won't be in the team.
Kurt.
Regrettably, it's going to be KDB in the 10 role. Unfortunately, he's not going to get to play deeper, and I'm not going to get what I want.
Okay, Carl.
Well, again, when I've watched City this year, obviously being a neutral and that, I liked watching you 2 years ago because you were fun to watch, and you used to just batter everyone 9-0. So it was fun to watch. But I think now, I don't know. I don't think De Bruyne works further up the pitch because he only has 4 options. Where when he's playing in a deeper role, he has 6, 7, 8 options to give the ball into. But I think it'll be bloody Rodri, Gundo, and De Bruyne. He's not gonna, and this double pivot basketball thing that he loves. He's gonna do that.
Chris, front 3.
Front 3. Mm-hmm. I'd have Sterling on the right because he's a right winger. I'd have Torres on the left because he's a kid, and then I would have No, Sterling should have to pick which wing he wants.
Dad
Hey?
me having a day off tomorrow.
No, listen, I think Sterling should have the choice out of the two of which wing he plays on. And then Gabby up front.
I know which wing I play Sterling on, the one that has a substitute bench on it. Ross.
Here we go. So I think people are getting carried away with what their dream positions are here. But Chris, I know you won't say his name, but Mahrez is going to play as one of the front three because I think he does the pool at PEPS, so he's going to be, and he gets a lift to the game, he gets a lift home, so he's going to play. He's going to play Jesus because I think the press conference is telling us Aguero's not going to play tomorrow. I think he might play Silva tomorrow. For some reason, I just don't think he's going to play Torres. I would. I'd actually have him, and I hate saying this, but I'd have that false nine position at the moment because Torres looks like he scores goals. But yeah, I think they're the top three that Pep will play. Not my three, but I think that's what he'll play.
Kurt.
I agree with Ross. I said it the other day that Torres looks like the guy when he has the chances that he's going to put them away. So Torres on the left, Jesus down the middle, and Mahrez on the right. Sterling needs to be on the bench.
Okay, Cal, where are you going? What I give you, man?
I haven't I think it's obvious with Mahrez. I don't think he should play because he scored that bloody three goals and still didn't perform that well in the game. It was just he's had them individual moments. So I think it should be fair on Torres on the right. He's looking a good player. He's looking a good player. Stale on the left and Gary Jesus up top.
Tomorrow it'll be Mahrez, Jesus, Torres.
Is our top scorer Mahrez? Top scorer, really, Mahrez?
To be fair, I like Mahrez. Like people, I know a lot of people get annoyed by Mahrez, but he's apart from Kevin De Bruyne, he's the only one creating more than one chance a game consistently. He does score goals.
Walker's creating a lot of chances though.
But like realistically, I'm talking about like the forward players. Other than De Bruyne, Mahrez is the one who's been creating chances for us.
I think
I say right this. Side.
The problem with Mahrez is he's so hot and cold. Like, I think like I said this a few months ago, he's too slow for that attack. He slows down.
You've got to pick the right games to play Mahrez.
He's in number 8 though, isn't he? He's in number 8. That's the role he played for Leicester, and he was in that first year when he won the league was phenomenal. But I think he slows down the transitions on the wing.
Yeah, but people say that, but realistically, Kevin De Bruyne plays on the right of the three. Kevin De Bruyne played wide midfield many times in his career, played it all the time when he was at Wolfsburg. He can easily interchange, let Mahrez come in on his left foot, come inside, and then De Bruyne takes the wide right. I don't necessarily buy the angle from that angle that fans use a lot, because football's fluid. People can change positions. Mahrez isn't always stuck on the right wing, on the touchline. He's not getting chalk on his boots every game. Let's put it that way.
I don't know. I just think I know it's crazy for me to say it's like judge a City player because good most of them are, but it's like I don't know. I look at Mahrez and I don't know. I don't think he belongs at a City. He belongs at like a PSG or something. I just think the City system doesn't really suit him. I think he's still a good player and he could go to most leagues and do well there, but I think he slows down everything with the play because that front three is normally quick. Like I think it was the Centurion season, you played Sané, Sterling, and Aguero, and season after that you played Sané, Sterling, and Aguero. Very quick attackers. Mahrez isn't that quick, and he does slow down that attack. And I think a counter-attacking side, which you most of the time are, in a way, the possession and then counter. I think you can't have someone as kind of slow as Mahrez.
Right. Score predictions and Chris.
2-1.
2.
Flip a coin, head, tails, whatever you want to do.
One of them.
Come on, give me a team.
I'm going to go 2-1. What City? Because I'm positive.
Ross.
1-0.
You know, it's like guest game at the minute. It's like pulling teeth. Give me the team. Come on.
I'll never say City will get beat. So whatever score prediction I give is always for City. So
Right.
even when it's a draw, it's a win. 1-0 City.
I actually think it's going to be a bit of a different game. I think it's going to be a lot of goals in the game, and I think we're going to score goals. I think 3-2 to us.
Cal?
Give me what Kurt's drinking. Give me what he's drinking or smoking, because
I don't drink alcohol. I think it must be the water. Don't know why they're putting the taps down here.
I don't want. I just want to clarify. I don't hate City, by the way. I don't hate City. I like City. Right? People think I hate City. Someone put in the comments that I hate City. I don't hate City. I like City. Right? I think it'll be 1-0 Southampton. Danny Ings penalty, and then he'll jump to the camera after the game and go, "That muppet on Man City Fan TV, Mr. Martin, I'm the best striker in the world."
Yeah.
And then he'll just shush it to the camera. Nah, I think it'll be 1-1. Realistically, I think it'll be 1-1. I think Ings will score, but then I think like Diaz will score a header or something.
Yeah.
I hope so. He's missed every opportunity he's ever had recently.
Anyway, I'm going 1-1.
Hey, 1-1
each. Oh, I've got an idea with Rodri anyway. How I think we could get him, like, fans to like him. I think he should just change the name on his back of his shirt to Hernandez, his other name, and then no one will know who he is. Shave his head, and then Martin, you'd have to buy a new shirt, but for the only one in the shop.
It's not that, Ross. I don't just sit there and slag players off after 5 minutes.
No, I agree with you about Rodri.
I know a lot of fans do now.
You just slagged him off for 10 years.
No,
yeah. Apart from Fernandinho, who's too old.
Yeah. Slag Fernandinho.
No, Chris. There's a difference between slagging someone off and being sentimental and realistic. We can't. No.
The thing is, Martin, you said realistic, and then you agreed that he's the best DM we've got.
Because we haven't got another CDM to play.
But that's not the question.
But I would go and buy another CDM.
I would.
Look what Andy's put in the comments. John Stones, you were very positive about him last year.
John Stones ain't only 36, you muppet. Shut up. 36 years old. Let's go out with Dad's army, shall we? My God.
I just want to remind people at one point in his life,
next, and bloody Kenny Dalglish and everyone else.
If any of the younger fans ain't seen it, I implore you to go look at some of these time at Shakhtar Donetsk. Great haircut when he was there, and he scored some banging goals from attacking midfield. People forget, great player. We're all night talking about.
I'm not a City fan who sits there going, everything's great, and let's all this, that, and the other, and let's keep them all till the 95 years old.
Didn't you want to buy the centre half though in the summer?
That old guy.
He was in his 30s.
Who? Koulibaly was 28.
Yeah.
So 29.
29 now. 30 next year.
Everyone here wants Messi at 34.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you have Messi? He's still one of the best players in the world.
Right, I'm going to tell you something now. It's called a long-term vision.
Yeah, I agree with Martin with Messi.
Go to Everton. You want short-term vision. Go to Everton. Hey?
I'd take Messi at Everton. Jesus.
He'd never leave. He wouldn't have an house.
Messi at Everton.
Between 29 and 35, 36 years old. Big difference.
I'll take Pele at Everton, never mind Messi. He's too old and coming to Everton. I'd have him until he's 104.
Cal Divitt says, mate, we're trying to win a league. Anyway, we're moving on. Let's move on to you throw them out and I'll bat them out the park, sunshine. Let's move on to fans. This actually takes us quite nicely into this one. Fans' frustration. As we've seen over the last few weeks, some fans have been Pep out, this out, everyone out, sack him, get rid of him, he's crap, we're stand the other. Fans overreacting a little bit at the moment. Or have they got a point? Because we have changed our style. I've listened to a few podcasts this week. Listened to 9320. Listened to the Why Always Us over on Spotify with Sam Lee. And there's been some very honest opinions, shall we say? Some very quite annoyed opinions, I'd say. Some people have been quite honest with their views, shall we say, lately. People have said it's transition. Other people have said, no, it's not. It's just not good enough right now. Chris, where do you stand? Why are some fans getting frustrated right now? Is it just the play, or have they got a point?
Listen, it's predictable and it's understandable, Martin, that people are frustrated, or City fans are frustrated. You know, this City that we've watched, not just this season, but quite a chunk of last season as well, has not have been as enjoyable to watch as the Pep team before that. I think the team are playing at a level or 2 or maybe 3 levels down on that team. So people are frustrated. I think it coincides with Vinny leaving. I think he must have had a huge impact on the team away from the pitch as well as on it. But, you know, I think away from the team, I think he had a massive influence. So I think it's understandable. The Pep out stuff is a bit premature for me. But, you know, when you've lost a game or you're not playing well, you know, that like the United game where we played crap. There's no other two ways about it. We didn't play well against West Brom either. But we didn't even try really against United to get the win. It's understandable. I think it's mad to have your head in the sky thinking it's all going to work out fine, because this has been going on for quite some time.
Well, like Andy said, point 1A, are we the same team as the Centurions?
You're never going to be, though.
No.
It's like
Like
impossible
I said,
to do
2
that.
years is a long time in football. Keep saying this.
Not that, though, like you had, I think, like, as well, as good as it was, as good of a season as it was, I think your only challenger really was United. It's not, and like, obviously, I'm not taking anything away. You played the best football I certainly ever seen in one Premier League season ever. But I think if you look at it now, you've got so many challenges. You've got Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, so many good teams. I think back then, you know, you had a Chelsea that had lost Costa. You had Liverpool hadn't had their Fabinho's, Alisson's, Van Dijk's. So there was a lot of teams around it that hadn't really built the team that they've got now. And not that, I think, I don't know, it was just that you played great football, but it's like, what would you rather have? Play great football and finish 4th, or play boring football, win every game 1-0 and win the league? That's the thing with Jose. Jose's never had really great games of football. It's always been boring, you know.
I don't agree with that. That Chelsea team was quality.
I know, but you never play.
5.
I mean, like, compare their quality of football to yours. It's nowhere near it.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I think that's the problem. A lot of people, they've set an expectation because of that 1 year that you had that I think's a bit too high, because that was a year that was like, that will never happen again in the Premier League.
3 years in a row, mate, someone's almost either got 100 points or almost got 100 points. When I was a kid, I remember doing the maths, you know, adding all the numbers. What would be the maximum thing if a team could win all 38 games? And you just
look at last year. Like,
it's crazy.
A lot of people said last year was a bad year, but that most years would have won you the Premier League. That points tally last year would have probably won you the league in most Premier League seasons.
I think the point is, City fans are frustrated, and it's normal to be frustrated because we're not playing at the same levels that we were.
Yeah,
and whether that's players leaving and going, that's why we're frustrated. That's why they're frustrated. It's not. It's just natural. It's a natural way of being. It's not. You know, you want to be playing that level of football week in, week out, and we've regressed a bit. You know, and also we've lost a lot of players.
I actually think Pep's transition. I think if you look at teams that have done this over the last few years, I think he's turned us into a European team. I think this year is all about the Champions League. I reckon even the club have said to Pep, if you finish 4th this year but you win the Champions League, that's all right. Or even if you finish outside the top 4 and you win it, that's all right. But you've got to obviously win it then, because the way we're playing. So Carl mentioned before about style. I don't think City have got a style right now. It's changing every week.
Yeah.
We are playing. If you look back at all Pep's teams, he's playing a totally different style of football now.
Mm.
We're not as attacking. He's very narrow. He's playing people in different positions. And I just think the league is not the priority for City this year. And that's where I think he's. And you know what? A 1-0 in Europe, that's all right, because it's one game or 2 games. And I know we've not lost a lot of games this year, and I know we're still in it if we win games in hand and stuff like that. But there's a lot of teams above us as well. If you know, I'm not going to mention the team down the road, but to Chris's point, we didn't even try and beat them the other week.
Yeah,
we didn't even try. Now they win their game in hand, and they're second, and they're But I think the thing I'm frustrated with most is this year, and I know it's hard because of COVID, and people not at the games. But what City game has really, really excited you?
Yeah, it's timing though. That's what I say. Like, I don't know if I was having this conversation with my mates before, because when I looked at it, I was like, these results aren't looking good for Pep. But then when you look at it, really, it's like, yeah, it's probably the worst timing, because obviously last year you didn't win the league, and then this year, it's such a hard thing. Like, it is one of them things where you've got so many world class players out, and not just that. It's like, let's be honest, I can't believe they're letting European. That's the problem with you, especially, is how many players in your 22-man squad play it for their national team? Basically every single one. So you're picking up a lot of injuries. And I started, it's like, there's a lot of players in your squad that can't play every game. Like a Fernandinho, he can't. As good as he is, he can't play every single game back to back to back. He can't.
That's my point with Fernandinho. That was also my point with him.
I just think it's a bit mad to sack Pep or to want him gone. Because I don't
think anyone on here is even like, I for one don't.
I've had a few debates with people saying that someone has said there's been a few.
Anybody saying sack Pep is madness.
It's just like I say.
Perspective.
Am I surprised that he stayed? Yes, I am. Because I'm surprised he stayed. That's different than saying should we stack? Because we had the City TV about that, and I thought he might go because of back to Spain, his family and stuff like that. But they must have said to him in January he's going to be able to rebuild because at the end of the season, because I can't see Pep's. This is the other thing about Pep. Never in his career has he been in this situation.
You say that
there's so many teams above him.
Yeah, the Barca squad. Like I hate. Like this is what does confuse me. A lot of people say like he's never had to build a team. You look at that Barcelona team when Pep took over. I think he finished like 4th in the league. They got knocked out the Champions League in like the quarterfinals or something. He took over. He brought so many young players up through the right, like the Lionel Messi, Iniesta, Xavi. He brought them all through. And Busquets, I think it's going to be a season where it's going to be one of them seasons where Liverpool will be top for 2 weeks, and then Tottenham will be back, and then Chelsea, and then you might come up top, and then you might go back top, and then Chelsea might go back top. It's one of them seasons where you won't have one team leading for more than 2 weeks. It's going to be by I think whoever wins the league will be like 3 points. It won't be by like 20, 30 points. It's going to be such a close season because I don't think the consistency is there for anyone. But I think it's just silly to sack Pep. Or to even like question it, like to even have that thought in your mind is just mad.
They're not going to sack him, but I think let's all be honest, guys. If City did lose 5 or 6 games, then stuff happens in football.
Can I be honest with you? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I will say one thing on this. I think if City lost 6, 7 games and we're mid-table by, say, like February, it wouldn't surprise me if Pep walked. Because I don't think they'll ever sack him.
Right. Can I just get in? Because I never said nothing about the Pep thing. I think it's quite interesting, right? For many months, years, however long, people have been complaining that it's always the same. He never changes it up. He never changes his style. Not talking about personnel. He always changes his personnel. But he never changes his style. He never adapts. And then he played that really odd system against Leon. It didn't work. And ever since then, I said it on the show the other day, I think he's just accepted that if he wants to play a 4-3-3, he hasn't got a DM that he's capable of doing it because Rodri's not capable of doing it on his own. So he's decided that with the personnel he's got, he has to play 2.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we've stuck to the system. And I think the fact that when you're playing with two and only one creator, you need your fullbacks to be much more accurate and much more like productive, because that's what Liverpool's side does. They sit with the two, you know, and then their wing backs offer all the width and means their forwards can come very narrow, and they're having 5 across the line, you know. And it's what we used to do in a different way, because we used to do it wide, and our 2 midfielders would come and be narrow, and we'd have the 5. I don't know, maybe go to a 4-2-4.
I only push back on Pep with what he's playing right now is against how many teams. So you look at our possession, you look at our chances, you look at how teams set up with us. Like what did West Brom had? They had a back 7 at some points in the game. Why do we actually need 2 holding midfielders? They don't even come in our half.
But the thing is with that, Ross, I spoke to Alan about it, and he disagreed with me. I didn't think that Gundogan was playing as a defensive midfielder in that game. I thought he was playing as a left 8 personally.
No, I agree with what you're saying. He ends up going into that position. But what I'm saying is actually start the more attacking players in the team. You know, your Torreses, your Fodens. So even if they line up as a defensive midfielder, we know they're not going to be there. But Pep's made a comment in his conference today that he's going to get more people in the positions. But they need to be the right people.
I think also press conferences Pep are dodgy because he doesn't, I think, make his points very clear with these English. Because I didn't necessarily, when he was talking about positions, I thought he was more talking about we need to get midfielders advance into positions to be able to help the attackers score goals. And it's not just a striker has to make a chance, take a chance, create a chance. That's how I interpret it. But I could be wrong. He could just be saying, no, we need to whip more balls into the top. But I don't think it was, his words were as simplistic as that. I think it's more talking about he should be going more forward. Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Bringing a super chat. David McFarlane, thank you very much, brother. Looking back to Leon and FA Cup semi-defeats, 18 points off first, and our general play over the last year. Would any other manager at City have survived?
Not City, but other clubs.
Let's be honest.
I think that's the point people are making.
That's a mad comment, though.
Well, it's not, Cal, because at Real Madrid or Barcelona...
No, but what managers have you had for longer than 2 seasons? You've never had a man.
Hey, mate. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, where again we are trying to strive to be. Yeah, that's where we're saying we're trying to be up there. You know, that's the idea of it. Is Pep not winning the league? And I think he would have. I think he would have got sacked at another club. I'm not saying he should be sacked. I'm saying he probably would have got sacked by them. I think it sits there. He is in a very comfortable position a little bit, where he's got his mates there, and they're not going to sack him. City waited, let's be honest, over 5 years for Pep to come in. Pellegrini was a stopgap.
We built our infrastructure to bring him in.
Pellegrini was a stopgap. As much as he did very well, and I'm not being disrespectful, he was a stopgap because we couldn't get Pep the first time. So, and I think that's where and so I do think he has got that luxury a little bit, but I do think he will build a team. I said it in the summer. I think we needed a revamp bigger than what we got. We sorted out the back line. I still think we need a CDM and maybe a centre mid. We definitely need a striker, because as much as I love Rodri, the last 2 days I've sat and I've looked at stats and I've watched it. Rodri in a Chelsea would be phenomenal. I'd watch him. He'd be good. But at City, it doesn't suit. Doesn't suit City. It's too quick.
He wouldn't get in Chelsea's midfield.
Why wouldn't he?
Over Kante.
Well, he got in the same midfield when they battered
him. Next to him, though. It wouldn't be him or Kante. It'd be him and Kante, no?
What about Jorginho?
Jorginho's naff, mate.
He's better than Jorginho.
I think the way he plays for Chelsea, though, it's so important, because his distribution from him is so important.
Yeah, I think he's the same style of player as Jorginho. They play as DMs, but they're not really DMs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Rodri's a fantastic player. Stick him in a Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, back where he was, it'd be great. Absolutely great. It's a slower league, not as quick. I think in a City team, the way we want to play, the way we want to transition the ball, he's not quick enough. And that's where my point is. Fernandinho is better than him right now, yes. But it's Fernandinho. He's not capable of playing every single game. And that's where we're stuck. That's where we're a little bit stuck. We haven't got anybody in to go in. I know people talked about John Stone's transition as maybe a backup CDM. We've tried Gundogan there. Personally, I think Bernardo Silva had one of his best ever games as a CDM. And I'm sure it was the Arsenal game at home last year. I'm certainly positive.
It was when he was next to Gundogan. Gundogan was playing the ball carrying role. Gundogan was next to him, wasn't it?
And that's my thing with Rodri. I think he's a fantastic player. He's very much like Mahrez. Wrong club at the minute. Wrong club. So I don't agree with this Rodri and Mahrez. They're both shit. They're not. They're just at the wrong club. That's just, and I do think, give Pep the summer, and he's a big shot. We haven't actually spent a lot of money in the last 4 years. Shock horror to everyone. As much as everyone wants to throw these stats around, that
I'm pretty sure we're fifth in net spend, like for best, like proper.
You're going to sit and throw your net spend like Liverpool do over the road. You know,
I think the biggest thing, Martin, though, on what we've spent is, I don't think, apart from, you can argue, apart from this year with defence, in the last 3 or 4 years, I don't think we've bought that's really, really improved.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would agree.
So I would have preferred, this is just me as a fan, I would have preferred after the Centurions that we wouldn't have gone away and bought your likes of Rodri and whatever. We would have actually said, let's give some other people a chance, or let's just actually wait and buy bigger. So, you know, there's an argument. We bought Aki and we bought Diaz. Okay, we bought 2 centre-backs. Now he's bringing Stones back and he plays Garcia. So whilst they've both done well, did we need to buy both? And should we have spent 120 million on a centre-forward? So I think our buying policy is sometimes we seem to, this year we're going to buy defenders. This year we're going to buy CDMs. But we've all known since we got rid of, we had 4 really strong centre forwards, and then people were all scoring. We've not replaced up top. So now when Aguero is injured and Jesus isn't firing, that's the issue. So I think it's more about and I don't agree with this, that Pep's going to have been involved in them transfers. For how big he is at the club, he's going to say, I like him. It's not all they've just gone and bought players and said, here you go, Pep.
Yeah, they just sit down in a conference room and they're obviously going to talk about it, aren't they? He's not the guy who makes the decisions, but obviously I think that he's not involved with
there is one signing that I always say that, like, if Pep had got him, then all my life is Alexis Sanchez. I think if Pep had got Sanchez, I think if he never went to United and he went to City, that attack would be, it's already unbelievable.
He wouldn't be playing with his dogs in Milan.
I think you haven't replaced Sané, and I know people say Torres, but Torres really occupies as either a right or a central player. Same as Sterling. I don't think Sterling's that good. He's obviously still world class on the left. He's a world class footballer, but he isn't. He can't do the same things as he can do on the right as he can do on the left. I think.
I'm going to pull thing on this Sané thing, and it's not because I love Sané, but how many goals did we score last year, Carl, without Sané?
I know,
So
obviously
we missed him.
No, but like, look at this season.
Yeah, but Martin, a year's a long time in football. How many goals have we scored this year?
Mm.
I understand. I'm not denying that.
Anyway, Martin, I'm going to have to, I don't want to jump off rude. I'm going to have to go, guys, because I'm taking the little junior blue. I'm going to drop that there. But I just want to thank the boys on here and then all the comments about my dad and stuff. I really appreciate that. Watch the rest later, so don't flag me off too much. And have a good one, guys. See you soon.
Tear him apart.
Nice chatting to you, mate. Take care.
Thanks a lot, boys. Ta-ra.
Chris I think he's gone to the bathroom. No, the thing with Sané was, Cal, can you just go back just to touch me, mate? Thank you. Sané was one of the world's best at the time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Sané was at the time. He didn't want to stay, very much like Garcia, so he left. Fair enough. But we didn't even miss him that much last year. Like I said, we were the top goal scorers in the whole of the country last year.
No one was
Yeah,
complaining about Sterling on the left when he was banging in 30 goals.
Everyone's banging about these inverted wingers. We scored how many goals? Yeah, like Kurt just said, we had the inverted wingers last year. Breaking news. It's not just. I think at the minute things are a little bit slower. Yes, but whatever. It's like Rodri. No one was slagging Rodri off last season. Now it's gone to this double pivot. Rodri's the worst player in the world.
I've just had a little bit of a thought about something. Previous seasons gone by, the way we used to set up, it used to be either our left back or a right back would tuck in and basically become like two DMs, right? And then that would allow the midfielder to go wide left or wide right, depending on which side we're going with. Now that we're using this two defensive midfielder system and it's on our fullbacks solely to get up and down the pitch, that could be another reason why our productivity is down, because we're having one of our more creative players put in a more defensive position and more of our defensive players more given a more attacking role. That could be a potential reason why we're having a little bit, because I remember years gone by, Walker never used to really like bomb up the pitch that much. Like, don't get me wrong, he did once in a while, but he would more often than not tuck in, or if it was Delph or Zinchenko on the other side. I don't know if that was more a case of because they were both midfielders playing at left back and that was just an easier position to put them in the pitch. But I don't know, because we seem really toothless from the fullbacks. Really toothless.
Wrong cow.
I think as well. I think like with City as well, as a lot of people forget as well with like the whole Pep thing is you can't blame Pep for a lot of what's happened this year. You look at what was the game? He's had like 15 chances, and you were missing literally sitters. That's what happened a lot. And I think last year I think it was the Wolves game when you got beat 2-0. I think at the Etihad he's had about 10 chances in the first 5 seconds, mate. You know what I mean? Sterling was shooting constantly. You still have a lot of shots a game, but you can't blame Pep.
That Wolves game at home was one of the worst.
You can't blame Pep when your players are missing. When you're 3 yards out, 4 yards out, and the sky in it, like in the Champions League. Sterling should have scored that goal in the Champions League. Let's be honest.
No, they understand that, Carl. I think the Pep frustration is this double pivot.
I think
there's two main Pep issues.
We don't need to play Gundogan and Rodri against Fulham. We don't need to
trust Rodri though. I don't think he trusts Rodri.
Yeah, but that's the reason why he's putting someone next to him. Martin, it's these comments in the presser that do him no favors. If he would have just said a lot less of the things he said, he would, because he's giving people a thing to bite on. If you never mention about form, no one ever brings it up about form. He keeps very strange.
I mean, today Jesus is one of the best strikers of the history. I'm not being funny, but come on, I understand there's motivation and there's.
No, he's using statistics to try and like prove a point that's not really there. He's valid in the point that his goals to minutes ratio is exceptional. To be fair. It's just we all know that there's a thing called the eye test, and we all do that, and we all know that he's just not clinical to the elite level. He's a good player, but he's not. Yeah, no, he's never going to be some 30 goal a season guy.
I think he's City fans, and I want to bring Chris in a minute on this. We're playing this 2 CDMs where there's no need to play 2 CDMs. Fulham is no offense to Fulham, yes. But would Liverpool go out and play 2 CDMs at home to Fulham? This is where we're at, and I think that's where the frustration's kicking in. Where's the fast? I've always said it. Watch City in the first 8 minutes. You can tell what City are going to play by the tempo they play. And the last few games, there's been no tempo at all. Chris, Carl's made. What is it? What is it you think fans are frustrated at with Pep at the minute?
But it's frustrating times anyway, Martin. We're all stuck indoors, right?
Yeah.
We can't do the things that we can't do what we used to like doing. So we're frustrated, and City aren't playing the best football they can play. So that just makes us even more frustrated. And every now and again, certainly after a game, it's not gone too well, the dollies come out, but it's going to happen so much quicker. But I think where fans are annoyed with Pep, I think is his stubbornness a bit.
Oh, does anyone here agree that City should look at replacing Pep in any way? Because I don't. Does anyone think it could even be considered?
We sat here a while back, and when we were talking about Pep Guardiola and contracts, and we all, not everyone, because I don't want to put everyone in the same boat. For the most part, I remember it pretty much going as, if he's going to just be this 1 year rolling contract where he has all the power, not really keen on that. But if he's going to sign multiple years and he's going to commit, that's what we want. We want the commitment for him. He signed a 2-year deal. He committed. He said, I didn't do well last season. It's not my best year as a manager in football. I'm not going to go away with throw my toys out my pram, take a sabbatical, and then go join Juve and win a couple of Italian leagues. He said, no, I'm going to stay here, sign the contract, and I'm going to get through this rough period. So for people to get to the point where they want to get rid of him is a bit perplexing.
I think as well, Kurt, what contract's Mourinho on? Does anyone ever talk about what contract Mourinho is on? Or Ancelotti at Chelsea?
The most likely scenario is it's usually 3-year deals, because they usually sign 2, and then if they get rid of him, they only have to pay him out for 1.
Yeah, Ancelotti's on a 4-year deal, 10 million a year.
Didn't that just get renewed last year though? It got upped, wasn't it? Or was that is that still the original contract he signed when he first joined you?
Ancelotti's not had a contract. He's not had any negotiations sorted since he signed.
Oh, okay.
I think my point is that with Pep, it's like he's almost like a player. You know, we've got him for this long. Whereas if a manager does well at a club, he stays at a club, and if he doesn't, he leaves. And there seems to be a thing at City where the board want Pep, and Pep will stay as long as he wants to stay. And there's a bit of a loyalty thing between the two. I don't think he'll ever get sacked, and I don't think he'll walk away.
He'll ever walk on us? Yeah, I don't think so either.
He's not that kind of manager, though.
The end.
I think
when things are going tough to war, he's not that kind of man. Yeah. When things are going tough to war, he stays. He said that though.
He's never broken a contract in his professional life, not just as a manager, as a footballer as well. People have got to remember that.
He said, and if I leave Man City, they've sacked me, or they think I'm not good enough anymore. He said, I will not leave. He said, I'm only go if I'm sacked.
Yeah, and I just don't think they will. And I think that with Pep, he's in a very unique position compared to anybody else. And we worry about him leaving because we know we've got the best manager in the world, and who's going to replace him. It's a constant sort of thing in the back of your mind. How much longer? I remember when he came. Well, we got Pep for 3 years. The first year wasn't great, was it? The second year was special. Third year even more so. And it's just like we don't want to lose him. But I think why the fans are frustrated with him, Martin, is we as a fan base loved that really cavalier attacking football, and we're not playing it at the minute. We don't like the 2 central defensive midfielders. I think a lot of us don't like the inverted wingers.
I mean, let me just go through this, what Leonard said. At the moment, Rodri doesn't really move past quick. Well, that suits our style at the minute, unfortunately. KDB tired, going to play right the way through. Pep's confirmed that. Werner can't play every game. Yep, Foden height. Disagree with that. Torres 2 or 3 years behind Sane. Torres has hardly had a kick this year, so can't agree with that. We don't know about Torres yet. This is my thing with some fans. I'm not having to go at you, Leonard. We're very judgmental very quickly, aren't we?
We've got to also remember that isn't Torres the same age as when we bought Sane from Schalke? He was 19 when we got him from Schalke, no?
Yeah, I think it was.
So in 2 to 3 years, we should probably evaluate Torres' season then in comparison to Sane's last season as for fairness.
Yeah, it's the thing.
You can't compare a 19-year-old season with a 23-year-old season. It's just then it's not the same.
Yeah, I'm with you on
especially
that.
His first year, mate. Especially his first year.
Yeah.
In a COVID year, where how many training sessions are we getting? We don't we normally have at least 3 or 4 months of the season where Pep can really get some training sessions in. We're playing every 3 days. The training sessions are most likely just boxes, recoveries, and a bit of gym work. I very much doubt we're doing full sessions.
Exactly.
So
I think we need to hold off on judging players a little bit. We need to hold off on this judging players.
I don't know about that actually, because you tell me is the Ben Mendy playing for City at the minute the Ben Mendy that we signed?
Most certainly not. No.
And
that's why I said Ben Mendy needs to go.
But the problem is, Ben Mendy had injuries 10 years ago that would have ended his career. It's just the medical was showing that he can play now. He just isn't the player he was.
But all right, on that one though, you're all saying Ben Mendy should leave because he's got this injury.
I don't say he should leave. I want Ben Mendy to stay.
You're talking about judging players. You just judge
I like Ben Mendy.
Too old. You know?
Yeah, that's my issue. Some of the squad, I do think the squad needs a revamp, and the problem is, some players are going to have to leave to bring players in. Because
when you win as much as we do, mate, you've got the revamp. That's what Fergie did. Yeah. You got rid of the people who start getting Big E and Bossett and think they're someone special.
Because you bring in someone else. Homegrown, we're going to have to get the homegrown quota. We're only allowed so many foreign players. So to buy other players, we're going to have to sell some. That's just facts of it.
We're kind of turning into Arsenal with our players in the sense of the wages. We're getting certain players were on wages that they shouldn't have been on, and that's that can bite a lot of big. We're seeing it all over Europe. Players of certain caliber given contracts they don't necessarily would give them because clubs were scared of losing them on a free transfer the next year. It happens a lot all over Europe, and we need to try and make sure we don't get in that basket because we're still paying for Otamendi, you know. And
I think what a lot of people just completely don't take into account is what the aftermath could be of if Pep did not just leave, but if he did get sacked. Because there's a lot of managers like a Pochettino, someone like him he's never handled a squad of the quality of City. Because when he took over at Tottenham, realistically, their only world-class players were Christian Eriksen and Harry Kane.
You said you keep seeing world-class squad. I don't agree with that.
Well, let's be honest. Let's go through the City team. Ederson is that's why most of your players would get into most starting 11s in world football.
You get what he's saying. Every single one of our squad players is a full international.
Exactly. If you sacked Pep and brought in a manager, people don't. This is what really is sacking a manager. Sometimes can do more harm than improve the squad. Look at, for example, I know Arsenal and City are completely two different situations, but Arsenal fans for years were Wenger out. They let Wenger go, and then it's been complete downfall for years. And I think if someone took over at City, what says a Kevin De Bruyne would go? Well, I don't respect him as much as I respect Pep. I don't know this man. You know what I mean? Pep was a close mentor to me. You know, a player like a Roger would go, well, Pep's a mentor to me. You know, a father figure for a lot of players. For God's sake. And then I think it's just, I don't know. I think you just got to take into account the aftermath of sacking a manager can sometimes be a lot worse, or letting a manager go can be a lot worse than it's worth, really, because I think, let's be honest, a manager will come in and 9 out of them 11 players might not suit his system, and 9 players might leave, and you might not be able to replace them players.
Problem is, Cal, mate, it's just football is, you want the new toy, it's always grass is greener on the side. That's just football fans. It's just the way it goes, mate. You know what I mean?
Because I think as well as how fortunate you have been, really.
Yeah, I'm not bothered if we never win nothing again and I see my side get relegated down to the 4th division.
Since you've been in the Prem as well.
I don't get so stressed.
Since you've had all this success since 2011 as well, after you've never really had a stint where you've had a good gap, a big gap of where
probably the best team in the Premier League for the last 10 years.
Mancini won the league, and then a year, 2 years after, Pellegrini was in, and then a year, 2 years after Pellegrini, Pep was in. So you've never really went
I understand that, Cal, but it surprised you, mate. We've still got some of those Mancini players from 2012.
Yeah, but
and then again, we're wondering what a problem is 8 years down the line.
But none of them players are the problem. That's the thing.
Cal, are you living in Dream World?
No, because let's be honest.
Are you living on FIFA?
I wish. No, but I think coming out and saying that that these players are the problem. It's not that they're the problem. It's, let's be honest, the problems lied with a lot last year. There was nothing from the boards. They should have went out and bought a centre back. It's been poor planning from the board. Not to do with Fernandinho or Aguero.
We've got one of the world's best squads.
No, but what I mean is you've got to think, look, where's your Aguero replacement? Where's your Fernandinho replacement? Where's your company replacement? Where are these replacements? But you still have world-class players. Sterling is world-class. Kyle Walker is world-class. Ederson's world-class. De Bruyne is world-class. Bernardo Silva is world-class. Do you know what I mean? These are world-class players. A lot of your squad is world-class.
Bernardo Silva's had one good season in 4.
I don't. You say that though, but look at what happened last
Saying
year.
it, mate. I watch it week in, week out.
Do you? He's still a world class
Yeah,
player.
I've had a season ticket, mate, for 30
Look,
years.
look, last year as well. Last year, keep your ear on, man.
Carl,
Last
he
year,
has to get that in every stream,
I
mate.
know every
Listen,
scene,
don't-
every video.
Don't try and mug me up on that one.
I'm not. I'm just saying though. Last year, Bernardo Silva had a lot of personal problems. He was accused of being. We all know what he was accused of as well. That has clearly.
Right. John Stones had a lot of personal problems, and look how he's come back.
Yeah, but I think not just that though. I think you've got to take into account is what manager would walk into City right now and completely change everything, and you'd go on a massive winning streak and win the Prem and the Champions League.
I'm not
all the
saying
cups.
change the manager. My exception is I don't agree with the world class. I don't agree with the world class squad.
No, but what? Let's be honest. Let's be real. For the last 4 years, what can you say? Can you actually turn around to me and say none that you haven't got a world class squad? 2 Premier League titles out of 4 seasons is absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, 2 FA Cups, like 552 League Cups.
I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle, because I think, to Martin's point, a lot of these players on the form they ain't world class in remote, but a lot of at the talent level we have is world class of our roster, in terms of our roster is world class. But there's an alarming amount of players out of form, and it's very, because normally you have a sides out of form, you can see where the key areas of fault is. Very rarely is it a team plays relatively well, not as great as they used to play. You just can't. How often do you see teams like ours? Because
True, I think
if you look at the average team, we're not playing badly. We're just playing badly by our standards, and there's good distinction to make there.
I think a lot of it comes down to confidence, Kurt.
Sports do, mate, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think we are playing much confidence. There doesn't seem
when
to
you
be
get knocked out by the 6th best side in France, mate, kind of can knock a few players' confidence, mate.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think these are professional footballers. We're talking about 1 or 2%, in difference in your opposition number, So if they're playing, and if you're playing full of confidence and your opposition isn't, it levels it out. And I think that's where City are right now. We're not playing with much confidence at all.
It speaks to the Pep comments in his presser today, when he basically said that. He just says, basically, we need a couple good results, people to start getting the good feel around the club, people not looking gloomy and miserable. Because I think also we as fans, we talk about the frustration from having the COVID lockdown and everyone's lives being changed dramatically over the last year or so. It's obviously affecting footballers, you know what I mean? They're the ones who have to do the tests every other week, going in quarantines here, flying here, there, can't see their family. Most of them are in different countries, So, and the football's not going well. It's easy to understand why it can spiral into a bad bit.
Let's be honest, last year you still... No, not at all.
Oh, mate, I'm all right. Rather not.
Last year as well, like, a lot of people, like, what does annoy me is, what team really... Like, you're talking about an elite level, not just a world-class team. You're talking about an elite level team to win 3 titles in a row. You're talking about the likes of a Manchester United under Alex Ferguson. That's a thing that does not really
but they're
really get done.
on their side as well.
I know, but you still can't take it away. It's still an incredible achievement. Obviously, the little shit.
Well, let's not talk about them destroying every other challenging team by buying their best players because the money wasn't in there. But they don't want to know about that.
Yeah, I think it's still like last season. It was simply just down to the fact she's had injuries, and Liverpool were very good. As much as I hate them, they were very, very good last year. They grinded out results. That's what a winning team does. They grind out results. They won 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-2.
Can't win every week, mate, and you can't beat every side 7-0, mate. We're having a bad patch, and it is what it is.
Look, if you don't win the league, bloody hell, you know what I mean? I'd take a Carabao. I'd take a Community Shield at my club. I'd take a friendly international trophy.
To be fair with the Community Shield, you have to win something to get there, unless you're Liverpool and you finish second and we win everything else.
It's just, I think, like, as well, it's like I don't know. I don't know if it's just me because of what I've seen from my team from the last 6 years, but it's like City. Look what you've won as well under them. It's not like you still finished second. Do you know what I mean? You still finished second and won a cup. like
this
2
is
cups.
this is the thing, Cal. This is the way the world works. You know, the phrase "first world problems" because everyone's it's only based on yourself. You can only judge things on what. I never thought we'd be in this position in my life. I never thought I'd say it, but because we've done so well, people just it's always referred back to that, you know. So no matter, for the rest of our history, people are going to refer back to those Centurion season and those amazing sides.
He's changed expectations, though, and Pep. Like that's what I said. Like, bloody hell, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, if you had turned around to me and said, you know, there'd be a manager in the Premier League to set that standard of you need 90 plus
multiple times, hasn't he? That the standards in English football have been set the bar so high, and we have to live up to those expectations. Like that's where the criticism comes, because he says it himself. We should live up to those expectations.
I think as well is something that I think if there's only one problem, I know Pep wants to win every trophy. Is it really the smart idea to play the best team in basically every competition? A lot of people had to go at Klopp for that, but Klopp knew that his priority is the Premier League. You know, he won the Champions League. He tried winning everything and he couldn't do it. So then the season after, he basically said, I don't want the FA Cup. I don't want to risk Salah, Mane, Van Dijk in the League Cup. So he played his youngsters, and then in the Champions League, he didn't go full on like they did in the Prem. And I think in the Prem, they were very fortunate because of the careful management from Klopp. He didn't really go for all competitions. And I think that's something Pep might have to do this year, is not go for every single competition.
No, but he generally played the same 11 in the Premier League week in, week out.
Yeah, but that's down to the fact is, if you're playing once, basically, most weeks, besides from Christmas, if you're playing one every week.
Well, he didn't. He played the Champions League and the Premier League, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but you've got to think as well as Liverpool are very fortunate because they have players, unlike City, who have never really had an injury record. Van Dijk, I don't think, until now, has really been out for a long period of time. Yeah,
totally. They've absolutely had a touch with injuries.
Yeah, Klopp was clever with last season because he didn't go for 4 competitions when he knew he didn't have maybe the squad depth to do it, where last year Pep wanted every single competition, and I think that certainly backfired due to the injuries that your club already had. I think like going into the FA Cup with your starting 11 wasn't probably the smartest of ideas. Oh God, don't do that, Chris.
I'm with that.
I think like it was just a very tough situation because again, you didn't win the league, but you finished second and won a cup, so
listen,
it's still a good season.
My thing is, and maybe that you hit the nail on the head, Cal. You're looking at it from an Everton perspective. That isn't different. You're looking at it from going, wow, what? And you know what? It's probably a really good viewpoint, that, because we've often said, and we joke, opposition fans must look at us and think, you ungrateful gits moaning and bitching and complaining.
Yeah.
We give our right arm, right, everything, legs, lot, to be in your position. And I think that's what comes with success a little bit. Because I understand a little bit now. We used to do the same about Man United and Liverpool. We used to go, how can you moan at this? Because look what you do. And now you're there. You look at it and you go, I get it a little bit.
But it's a bit different, because I think with the fan bases of teams like Arsenal and Manchester United, they have a glorified view of they have some God-given right to the 3 points and right.
We seen on air is we must win the league.
Yeah, but that's I just don't. How can, as a fan of football, all the leagues in all the world that play this game at a semi-professional or professional level, how many of those teams get to lift trophies? Such a tiny percent.
Yeah,
it's not what matters.
How many Champions League did Fergie win, Chris and Kurt? Just remember, how many did he win in 20-odd years?
2.
Yeah, but they wanted that. United fans wanted him sacked. They wanted him sacked when he got knocked out the FA Cup in 80.
I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying,
they're mental.
A shed load, a bucket load, and if you actually look at it pound for pound on today's market and 10, 15 years ago's market, Man United was spending money way, way more than us.
When they bought Rio Ferdinand for 30 million. They were
buying Juan Sebastian Veron.
Well, that was a great signing. He was
not just that. I think as well as in the night
doing it, and they won 2.
Yeah, Yorkie from Villa, Cole from Newcastle.
Ferguson, the greatest ever manager ever in United history, or World football, some say, has
He
won
is.
the Champions League. How many's Pep won?
2, isn't it? Pep's 1.
Sorry, he's won exactly the same, but
Was it
Pep's
3?
failure. But Pep's a failure in the Champions League. So,
It's narrative.
Mate, that's fans who don't really know much and just want to banter Pep. Like,
They're not real. They're people. I can't think they're genuine.
it's the hardest competition in the world to win because.
Well, to me, it's the hard. It's not the hard.
It's just a cup competition.
No, but look at the teams you're playing though. Most of the time, like maybe the early stages are easy, but then when you get into the quarterfinals, or most of the time, it's the Bayern Munich.
It's a cup competition. You don't have to be the best in Europe.
I know, but no,
don't even have to be the best in your league.
Yeah, but look, I know, but I'm just saying. Look at the last 8 teams. Normally are the best teams most of the time. Maybe the last 2 years, maybe not so.
But when Tottenham got to the final, they were the
No. I'm just saying though. Usually, the last teams in the last few stages, from the quarterfinals to the final, are the likes of Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, Juventus, Atletico Madrid. The top dogs in football. And I think as well, not just that is, let's be honest, is for me, people take into the fact that the fans' perspective, but the problem is now is we're in 2020 and it's the owner's perspective of the club, and the owners will think the money is where the Champions League is. And I don't think that. I think the best league, the best thing to win is on home soil, the Premier League. But the owners won't think that. The owners will think we want the Champions League because that puts you up there as the best team in the world. If you win that,
I get that, Cal. But we will always boo the bloody.
Yeah, your fans will, but the owners want the Champions League. And let's be real,
I know,
what managers in world football realistically are out of a job, because let's be honest, you aren't going to get Zidane. That's not a City type manager. Zidane is not a City manager. Ancelotti I don't think could handle Manchester City. As much as I love the man, he couldn't handle a bigger team like City at the moment. Jose Mourinho, shit. Nah, he's not shit, but I like him, but he's not going to go to City. Yeah, let's be honest, whatever. Klopp has won 1 Champions League, and I hate him, but he's not going to go to City. So the only manager out of a job is like an Allegri.
The idea that you sign a manager to win a cup competition is just it doesn't happen. No.
Exactly.
I might be deluded. Maybe I'm an idiot.
No,
I don't genuinely think there's any owners of any clubs that go, you know what, we're going to get this guy in because we want to win the league, the Champions League, and whatever happens in the league doesn't matter because he's a cup manager and that's all he's brought in to do.
Well, look at Madrid. Madrid sacked Zidane. They won the league and they sacked him. They literally, they won the league and the Champions League. Yeah. And then he said he sold Ronaldo, so they sacked him. They literally sacked him for selling him.
That wasn't my point on Pep. Like any other club would get the sack for last season.
Like that's the thing is, I think the Champions League is the most. It's a weird competition because it's obviously for City fans it's divided, but for someone like me, I've never really been old enough. I was 3 when my team got in it, and we got knocked out in like the qualifying stages by like AKA Effins or someone crap like that. I wasn't old enough to watch my team play really, so it's like the Champions League to me is like a competition that's millions of miles away. That's like a different thing, and not just that, I think the teams you're playing as well, like bloody hell, Bayern Munich, PSG, you're expecting a miracle to come out easy and win it so easily. Like
I'm not asked about. I just couldn't care less about the Champions League. We have to play it because we qualify for the competition.
Yeah, but the owners, that's the thing. What do the owners speak about most of the time?
I'm not the owner.
I can't appreciate that. Because owners will leave, fans are forever.
I know, but the problem is right now you aren't in control of Pep. You can't sack Pep. You can't let Pep go. You can't speak to Pep unless you tie the man down and go, all right, Pep, lad. Can't do that. It's the men that can speak to Pep.
More of this Rodri Gundogan Pep. I've had enough.
56,000 fans. Me and Chris spoke about this. There was 56,000 fans in that Etihad right now. Do you think Pep would be getting
Obviously, but I mean, like the people.
They'd be getting off the pitch.
It was, but I think the people that
won't be singing, we've got Guardiola. That's for sure.
The people that check what Pep's doing and to see if it's to the right standard is the owners. And let's be honest, the owners speak so highly. I don't look into it into a business standpoint, into a financial standpoint. The Champions League is the most profitable trophy to win in club football. It is, as much as I hate it. And the only good thing they do is the Pepsi Max bottles.
Yeah, but exactly. You just said it. It's the most profitable.
It's the most profitable. So for your owners, if you win that, that takes you. You're already a massive club, but on a worldwide stage, you take over Liverpool and Manchester United for maybe only a few months. But when you win, look how many fans have become Bayern fans over the last few months because they won the Champions League. People think they're bloody German.
But this is the thing. That's what the club wants. The clubs, obviously, it's a business. They wanted to expand our market, expand our reach, get more traction for the club, get more eyes on the thing. But I couldn't give a monkeys. I don't care if some fan from wherever wants to be a City fan because he saw us win the Champions League. You know what I mean? All I care about is watching my team, you know, and supporting them, and whatever the outcome, having a moan about it or having a laugh about it. And most of the time this season, it's been a bit of a moan.
The Champions League, though, it's a. I think. Look, how many people hate the Champions League? Your fan base hates the Champions League more than anything, but it's like, look what it does to clubs. Liverpool won the Champions League, and then look who they could get after that. Even just getting to the final attracts world-class players.
I'm gonna get worded in a minute.
He just wants to talk about the Champions League for once, mate.
Martin, you look like you're sweating. Take the bloody coat off.
I'm not sweating.
You're shining.
I've been trying to change the subject for 10 minutes and I've not been able to. Bless Carl for his Champions League. It's the Carl and Kurt show. Yeah, me
Pepsi
at the moment. Guys, Chris, have you got? We're going to wrap it up there because it's getting on to midnight and I don't want to. Has anyone got anything they want to end on, Chris? Because you've been very patient there in the corner, mate, in your brand new shirt.
I like the shirt. Yeah, well, VAR. We're going to save that till next time.
We're going to do VAR when there's actually something to talk about with VAR because there isn't.
Every week, something dodgy goes on with VAR.
Not for the last 2 weeks. It's been in our favour the last 2 weeks, so I can't really complain about it. Anything you want to say though tomorrow, or anything else? No.
Who?
He's talking to you, mate.
He's talking to me. Oh, right.
Kurt, anything you want to say, mate?
Cheer up, lads. I think it's going to be a positive result tomorrow. I've got a weird feeling they're going to come at us and get bent over.
Pardon? It's a game of football we're watching, Kurt. I don't know what you're watching, mate.
As long as we get in behind them and score the goals, mate, that's all that matters.
That's what.
Oh, you're getting behind. Oh,
Kyle.
Hello.
And your fixation of the Champions League, mate. Anything you want to say? I shouldn't have said that question.
No, don't worry. No, don't worry. I'll be serious. Don't worry. I just hope everyone has a good Christmas and stay safe and has a good New Year. And to Ross, I hope his dad recovers very quickly. And
same to your grandpa, mate, as well.
Yeah, and just if anyone ever needs to chat though about like if anything's going wrong in life, just hit me up on Twitter and I'll tell you about how good the Champions League is.
Oh, tell them your Twitter handle, mate. They might need to know that.
It's incredible, Awobi. 1878. Because Awobi is incredible. Right, man, close your mouth, lad.
Anyway, right, guys, that concludes our Friday. Oh, go on. I said anything else?
No,
and he puts right at the end. Go on, say it.
No, nothing, mate.
Well, put your hand up. Well, I'm lost now. Why is Chris gone quiet?
I'm all right. I know I've got nothing to say, mate. Thanks, mate.
It's just winding you up, mate. It's just winding you up, mate.
You want to wind up?
No.
Right. One thing I do want to say, please, big well wishes to Ross's dad. We hope he really pulls through and all the best for him. It's not easy times at the moment and it's sad news, but he is watching. We wish you all the best, Ross's dad. He didn't actually tell us your name, so I sound a bit rude at the minute. Just keep saying Ross's dad. So I do apologise for that. But guys, yes, there is a watch along tomorrow. I will be on air at 20 to 3 tomorrow. And they will, if there's going to be a reaction show, I don't know. I am out tomorrow evening. As soon as the game finishes, I have got to scarp off because I'm going to go and see some Christmas lights with my family. Bit of family time. So I won't be doing the reaction video, but Andy might do one. It all depends what time he's back in from doubling tomorrow. But yes, there will be a watch along. And yes, the Blue Glass will be with us. Big thank you to the Ginger Princess in the corner.
Right. There's some people who don't wear face masks, right, because their nose is too big, right? But I still wear underpants, right? Come on, City.
People who brag about it are telling lies. Kurt,
I just want to say thanks everyone in the chat. Cheers for listening to me waffle on forever. I hope everyone has a good Christmas, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 3 o'clock for the win.
Well,
For the win.
Carl, thank you for coming on.
I just want to say, I think me and Kate should have our own show, stars of the show. And yeah, just to echo what everyone said, just have like I said before, have a good Christmas, everyone. And if I'm not back by the end of the year, then I feel sorry for you because I'm a legend. But yeah, just have a good Christmas and New Year's. And hopefully Everton and City both win until we smash it on the 28th.
Alec Johnson, I'm so sorry about that, but please, I hope it's peaceful anyway and everything gets sorted out for you, brother. If you need anything, like I say, we are here, mcfcfantv@gmail.com. Or if you want to email me personally, it's Martin, mcfcfantv@gmail.com. And then you can get Chris as well. We'll give you our mobiles. And if you really want to have a chat with us, we will do a Skype. We'll do something if you want to have a chat with us. And we will cheer you up. Next week, there will be the Man City Fan TV Christmas. So we're going to call it the Christmas Social, I think. Might do a quiz, might have a drink or two. You never know. Chris is hoping we play virtual spin the bottle. Anyway. Well,
I'm not going to say it. It's going to be filthy.
not saying that.
Say it.
No.
Stay strong, mate. Stay strong, Alec. And thoughts and prayers with you and your family, mate. I hope, things get better. I need some cheering up, Martin. He'll get sorted. Tomorrow, I'm on my own, so we can get with it. Chris, I've just woke the missus up laughing at that joke. Don't worry, Chris's missus laughs at that joke because she's like, you bloody woman.
She hasn't seen it for months, mate.
No, there's a chastity belt on to get away from it. I nearly said something else there, but I can't say it. The missus will be on the phone to me, or your neighbour will. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave, guys. Have a lovely...
But she doesn't like sweaty men.
She also told me she don't like gingers. Anyway, guys, have a lovely, lovely evening. It's been... You not just tell me and Chris get on like an horse on fire. This is all banter, guys. Don't all think we're... Take your face off. Anyway... I tell you, I'd say wear a paper bag, but you'd insult a paper bag with that face. Love this channel, always makes me smile. Thanks, guys. Anyway, I can't say what I want to say because we'll get shut down. Guys,
say it off here.
What?
Say it off here.
Oh, no, don't you want to. Guys, have a lovely evening. I'm back at 23 tomorrow. City we travel to St Mary's, Southampton, where, if you remember, we became officially Centurions. Can Gabby do it again? I hope so. And let's get the title challenge back on track. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, up the gingers. Take care.
City! City! City!